The honourable member for Edmonton St. Albert, and I should advise him from the beginning he will have about 4 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and it's really an honor for me to rise and speak with regard to this opposition motion. I'm a little perplexed by the motion. My inclination, Madam Speaker, is to actually support the motion, but as I listened to the debate all day, it seemed like the members, actually on both sides of the House, were more intent on debating Bill C-30 as opposed to the actual motion, and they don't actually have that much in common. But I will talk briefly about the bill that is referenced in paragraph C of this 5 proposals contained in the Liberal motion, and that's with respect to the alleged constitutionality and compliance with the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And as a member of the government of this House's standing committees of both public safety and justice, I'm quite confident that this bill C-30, is Charter compliant. Is it a perfect bill? No. Is perfection ever going to be attained when one balances issues of security, national security, and police issues with respect to weeding out child pornography and child predators versus privacy rights? No, you'll never obtain perfection because that's a very, very delicate and precarious balance. But we have to make reasonable accommodations for privacy. Privacy must be protected because Canadians have an expectation that their privacy will be protected. But let me dispel a couple of the myths, and one of the biggest myths is that somehow the police will have the right to have warrantless searches of one's private emails or browser histories of what sites individuals have visited without warrant. That is absolutely false. The only information that will be provided without warrant is basic subscriber information, which is limited to customer name, address, email address, telephone number, IP protocol address, and the name of the telecommunication service provider. And Madam Speaker, as members know, or at least members who have studied this issue, that information is already voluntarily provided by the telecommunication providers, but it's provided on a voluntary basis. Some take longer than others, some provide different information. So this is going to make it standard, mandatory, and more in a more time-efficient basis. But with respect to the actual motion that is before this House and which we will be debating or which we'll be voting on in just over 30 minutes, the motion in itself is supportable. Of course, legislation ought to be Charter compliant, and I would suggest to you, Madam Speaker, that this piece of legislation, C-30, is in fact Charter compliant. It is not perfect. It tries to balance the Canadians' needs and expectations to privacy versus the police need to provide security for the citizens. So this bill, the government has taken the nearly unprecedented step of referring the Bill 30, to committee prior to debate and second reading of this House, so that Canadians can have an even more fulsome debate than normal, trying to balance the rights of privacy versus the needs of national security. So it's a good bill, not a perfect bill. We're going to make it better, but I do actually, on the wording of this motion, I think this motion is in fact supportable. Thank you, Madam Speaker.